Hello there, and welcome back to Inside the Man Cave, where I showcase my pop culture collection. My name is David Danger88, and in this episode, we're looking at another Starlog magazine, and a very special Starlog magazine because it is celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Star Wars, but also the 11th issue, the 11th anniversary of Starlog. But what a book it is. Now it's a pretty big book, so this might take us a while because it's almost a jumbo size one, but it is celebrating 10 years of Star Wars in 1987, and funny enough, in 2 years time we're going to be celebrating 50 years of Star Wars. So let's dive into this monster issue of Starlog. So let's start this journey off with the Star Wars special celebrating 10 years of Star Wars from 1987. So this is the front cover, and what a front cover this is. It's one of the most classic images of Star Wars. We also have, looking at the Predator film, Superman 4 and James Bond 007. But this is going to be much more of a Star Wars focus one, and we'll turn straight over the page and take a look. So here is a little ad for Spaceballs. Now, funny enough, I've never seen Spaceballs before, but I know there's a new film coming out of a sequel, so I'm now going to have to try and watch that. And then we have the poster of the decade, the first 10 years. That is so cool. I wish I had that poster, and if I was alive in 1987, I could apply for it. So here what we have is the contents page for Starlog, and it is from July 1987. And yeah, all the features that I've got in here. So see, Doctor Who as well makes an appearance. And then a big chunk of Star Wars. So this is going to be a big Star Wars love letter. But we also have the Predator and a little look at Superman 4, the most weirdest Superman film. And then over here, I think we've got an ad for a book. So on this side, we have all the credits of all the good people at Starlog. And then this section is from the bridge. It's a pretty much little introduction from the editorial people and everything like that. So again, this is going to be very Star Wars heavy. And I will try and get as much of this writing as possible, and you are welcome to pause the video to read it if you can. And also here we have a cool ad, the Fantastic Worlds of Science Fiction Movies. So these are all these really cool to have that where you could order in and get different things, and it's almost like an actual, like you're reading a book, but it's also like a store where you could order things to buy. So it was pretty cool as well. And here we have a preview of the new Doctor Who at the time that was played by Sylvester McCoy. Here we have creator conventions, all the different conventions that are on that you could almost go to. There's some in Manhattan, and Pittsburgh, and they've got like Star Trek and Doctor Who. And then over here we begin the era of Star Wars. So again, this is going to be a big Star Wars in book, and look at that awesome classic image of Star Wars, because I think that guy's actually based off George Lucas. But that's one of the earliest pictures of the Star Wars, as that's what it was, I think, originally called. So I will try and get as much as this writing as possible. So again, you're welcome to pause the video and read along. We've got a section over here called Other Voices. It says how I learned to stop worrying and love Star Wars within limits. So again, so much more Star Wars is going to be in this issue. We've got here some discounted soundtracks that you can order, and it's also pretty cool to have a look. We've got Halloween over here, we've got Star Trek, so just a bunch of cool random soundtracks. And over here you could literally just write your name, your address, your city, and I think you'd be able to put the postage money in there and just pick out which one you'd want and get delivered, all because you're reading Starlog, which is always really cool. Here is a section on Star Wars comics, and it goes into delve into that, and again it's a big section into the first ever expanded universe into Star Wars, the original. We've got a great section here with Starlog salutes Star Wars, and there's a great image of George Lucas with all of his original props from the original trilogy. So again, a lot of Star Wars in this issue, but I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I'm happy with that. In this next section here, we've got Sebastian Shaw, the original actor who played Anakin Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. So we get to have a little insight of who he was. Here we have a section on Spaceballs, the movie. Now, I've never seen this movie, even though I think it is a spoof on Star Wars, so I'm surprised I've never seen it. And now that they've released that a sequel is coming out, I've got to go see it now. But here is a little look at the special effects of Spaceballs. In this section, we're having a look inside the film Inner Space. Over here, we've got an advert for James Bond, the role-playing game. So that is really cool. And again, you can order them if you like and choose which one and pay your way. And then over here, we've got a section on Margaret Kidder. Her best role as Lois Lane in the Superman films, and I think they're talking about her journey in Superman 4, so it was a very interesting film. But I'll let you guys have a look at this. In this section over here, we've got a preview of The Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and look at that image we have over here. That is so sick. Here we have is the classified sections where people are selling all different kinds of stuff, like you've got movie posters here, different catalogs they're selling. So yeah, all different cools, different stuff. There's some Star Wars toys, yeah, just all different things. There's tapes and merchandise, so it's always a cool thing to go back and have a look at. And we come to the last section with the linear notes, and this was a very big issue. It was almost 2 issues in one, having the Star Wars 10th anniversary section and then a normal Starlog magazine as well. And then you've got a cool ad here from some Star Trek ships over here, but this was a pretty big issue. And then at the back we've got the official fan club of Star Trek. So that is pretty cool, but that is it. Again, this is a pretty big book because you are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Star Wars, but also a little section here celebrating the 11th anniversary of Starlog. So yeah, a quite lengthy issue, but a really cool one to go back to 1987. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you again for another episode.